Why automatic faucets turn off too fast. You've probably had this happen. You're washing your hands, everything's fine, and then suddenly the water shuts off. You move your hands, wave a little, maybe pull them back and try again. The faucet turns on, then shuts off again. It feels annoying. Almost broken, but most of the time automatic faucets aren't malfunctioning at all. They're doing exactly what they were designed to do. Automatic faucets turn off quickly on purpose, and once you understand why, the behavior starts to make sense. At their core, automatic faucets are not designed to give you a perfect experience. They're designed to avoid the worst possible outcomes. To understand that, we need to look at how these systems actually work. Most automatic faucets use infrared sensors. Inside the faucet is a small emitter that sends out infrared light and a receiver that looks for that light bouncing back. When your hands enter the detection zone, the reflected infrared signal changes and the system turns the water on. This happens very quickly, but speed is not the priority. Certainty is. The faucet isn't asking whether hands are probably there. It's asking whether it is confident something is there right now. If that confidence drops even slightly, the system shuts the water off. This is where the frustration usually comes from. Human hands are poor sensor targets. They move constantly, they rotate, they reflect infrared light differently depending on distance, angle, skin tone, soap, water droplets, and ambient lighting. Even a small change can weaken the reflected signal. From the faucet's perspective, that looks like uncertainty. And when the system becomes uncertain, it defaults to off. That decision is intentional. Automatic faucets are designed around a conservative rule. It's better to shut off too early than to stay on too long. Why? Because the risks are not equal. If a faucet shuts off too early, the worst case is inconvenience. If it stays on when it shouldn't, the worst case is flooding, water damage, slip hazards, or a sink running unattended. Engineers design around worst-case scenarios, not best-case behavior. Water damage is expensive. Public restrooms are high-traffic environments. Faucets run all day, every day. Even small failures scale quickly. So the system is tuned to be cautious. Another factor is time limits. Most automatic faucets have a built-in maximum runtime. Even if the sensor continuously detects something, the faucet will still shut off after a fixed period, often between 20 and 60 seconds. This prevents situations where an object is left under the faucet, someone walks away mid-use, or reflections fool the sensor into thinking something is still there. The faucet does not assume people behave perfectly, it assumes they don't. That's why even if you hold your hand still, the water may shut off anyway. The system isn't broken, it's enforcing a hard stop. There's also a critical trade-off happening in the background: false positives versus missed detection. If a faucet is tuned to be extremely sensitive, it might stay on too easily. Reflections from shiny sinks, soap bubbles, water droplets, or nearby movement could keep it running when no one is actually using it. That's unacceptable in a shared space, so designers tune the sensor to require a strong, consistent signal. If the signal drops below that threshold, even briefly, the faucet shuts off. That means some real hand movements will be missed, but it also means accidental activation is reduced. This trade-off appears in many safety-focused systems. False negatives are annoying. False positives can be costly or dangerous. In this case, the faucet chooses annoyance. Another reason faucets shut off quickly has nothing to do with sensors. It has to do with human behavior. People don't wash their hands the same way. Some scrub quickly. Some take their time. Some step away mid-wash. Some leave objects in the sink. The system can't predict individual behavior, so it doesn't try. Instead, it enforces rules that work reasonably well for everyone. Short activation windows encourage efficient use, reduce water waste, and increase throughput in busy restrooms like airports, stadiums, hospitals, and schools. If each faucet stayed on just a little too long, the water usage would add up fast. From a system perspective, short cycles are a feature, not a flaw. Maintenance also plays a role. Automatic faucets operate in harsh environments. Sensors get dirty, soap residue builds up, water splashes constantly. Lighting conditions change over time. Designers know sensor performance will degrade, so they design the logic to remain safe even when accuracy drops. If a sensor becomes less reliable, the faucet will shut off more often, not less. Failing off is safer than failing on. This is known as fail-safe design. When something becomes uncertain, the system moves to the safest possible state. In this case, the safest state is no water flow. This philosophy shows up everywhere. Automatic doors stop instead of guessing. Traffic lights default to red. Elevators stop rather than continue blindly. The faucet shutting off too fast isn't poor design. It's conservative design. Once you see it this way, the behavior becomes predictable. If you want the faucet to stay on longer, you have to work with the system. Keep your hands within the detection zone. Avoid sudden movements. Move slowly instead of waving. You're not convincing the faucet you exist. You're maintaining a consistent signal. But even then, the faucet may still shut off, because the system isn't designed to serve you perfectly. It's designed to serve everyone safely. And that's the key takeaway. Automatic faucets aren't trying to be smart. They're trying to be cautious. They trade convenience for control. They trade smoothness for predictability. They trade comfort for safety. The next time the water shuts off mid-wash, it's not because the faucet failed. It's because it refused to take a risk. And in shared public spaces, that's usually the right choice.